Hi, Nick Colyer here, and this is my shop. Come join me. We'll have some fun. Hey, Nick Colyer here, and we've got another project on the line here, and well, as you can see, this project is happening, but you know, it's not a machine project, and it's, you know, more of a welding project than anything. Basically, I'm making a 14-foot long, 6-foot tall picture frame for, I'm not exactly sure what it's for, as usual, but I'm making it, and hey, it is what it is. But for now, we're going to shift over into another mode. I picked up this project to do, I can't remember, 26 units of a welding and machine project. And the welds want to be pretty clean, and they're around a cylinder. And so the only really way to make a nice clean weld is to have a weld positioner that, you know, rotates very slowly. Well, I don't have the money to go buy a weld positioner right now, so we're going to make one. And instead of using an electrical motor to get the weld positioner to move, I'm going to do it like an old potter's wheel, you know, a kick wheel that you kick with your foot to get it going. And in this case, it's really only going to do like 1 RPM, so we'll be kicking it very slowly. I'll show you. Now, this is just a total rough sketch of what I have in mind. And you can see down here, it will be the kicker that, you know, I'll just rest my leg, on my foot on it, and just rotate the thing around as I'm welding up here in the chuck. Now, I've got a chuck on the way that I got off eBay, and I'm using a CVC joint from a little Geo Metro that I happen to have, that I drive around on a regular basis because it gets great gas mileage. And it turns out that this side of the CVC joint really can torque over a long ways and still rotate. So we're going to take that and we're going to make that as our adjustable for the positioner. And you can see here that I'll build a plate and then put a slot in there and then put a some sort of fastener to be able to rotate this head over, and I'll probably get, oh, I don't know, maybe 90 degrees out of the whole thing by the time I get done, and then be able to lock it in place, and then the 4-jaw chuck that's coming will grab the project that I'm going to be welding and machining, and then of course I have the weld positioner for future projects. Now, I don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to give it a try and see. Stick with me. We're going to have some fun. Okay, since the CVC joint or the CVC shaft is you know, goes on a car, and this is pretty much the drive shaft, I'm guessing this is some pretty stout material. So we're going to cut it on the big bandsaw and see how we can do it. Well, my light just blew out. Okay, it unplugged. Yeah, it's cutting, doing just fine. No problem. Great. All right, well, that's a good beginning. All right, well, we've got 2 metal discs here that we're going to cut this bottom section off so that it can sit flat, and so that the CVC joint can rotate on that. Well, that's a pretty easy deal. something like this. All right, so we've got our rotary table set. We've centered our spindle to the center of the rotary table. Then we set up our disc to center. So now we want to drill a, well, I'm not even sure what size it is because I don't care. We're just going to drill a hole in the center here. We'll figure out the right size later. Alrighty. You know what, I think we're going to just take it to, well, no, we're not going to take it to a ½ inch. We will take it to a ½ inch eventually, but my drill bit fits this collet and I don't want to have to change collets. So, pull this out, drop the mill bit in. We're going to rotate our head until we come to this well, take out the wrench. Get a new battery for my drill. Okay, let's brush that off a little bit. Bring you up a little higher. There you go. We've got our bit in. Now we're just going to take it back. Oops. Hang on, we're going to move you and then put you back. Perfect. And all we want to do is just miss that clip. Now we're going to bring this back to 0 or whatever those degrees are. Let's have a look and see. 20 degrees is what it reads. Now I want to go over and get the CVC joint. What did I do with that? And what we want to do, let's back you up a little bit here so we can get a better picture. Come on, baby. That's good. Still can't see it though. Well, we'll just put it right there. Now you can see it. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the shaft here. Bring our rod in somewhere close. We're not looking for super accurate here. We're just looking for something approximating the amount of bend that can make. Somewhere in there, I would say. That looks pretty good. And what do we got here? 41 degrees. And I would say if we went to 45 degrees, maybe even 50 degrees, that would give us plenty. So we're going to go 50, 50. And you know what? I'm thinking it's a good idea that we just drill that hole. Alright, so we drill the hole first, and that way we've got a start, and then we can just kind of go around rather than try to work our way down into it. Alright, well, we've got one problem. One of our standoffs is sitting in the way. Yep, sure enough. Alright, here's what we do. We just loosen this up just a little bit. All right, let me dance with this a little bit. We got our standoff out of the way. We're going to put our bit in. It's the rain starting to come, and we're supposed to have this huge storm coming in any minute. And it sounds like here it is. Okay, we're there, we're in, we're ready to go. So we're sitting at 20 degrees right now. Yes, and we want to go 50 one way and 50 another way. All right, we did it. Suck up all the excess. And we got 2 plates that are complete. There we go. Nice beginning. We'll be back. Okay, so we needed something with a 4-inch hole in it so we could get the CVC joint through there and have it bend. So this, you know, scrounged around and found this old piece of shit, and we'll turn that into something. That's good. All right, that was reasonably painless. That's going to give us the sleeve that'll fit in between, or that the CVC joint will fit in between, and then we'll weld those 2 plates to that. Let's go over to the Bridgeport and I'll show you rather than tell. All right, well, it's going to be something like this. I think these the plates are going to sit up just a little bit higher, but for right now they don't need to. I want to get them up to about there so that the bolt hole is visible and we can get a bolt through there. So other than falling down, hey, we'll be back. Well, Nick Colyer here again. It's a couple of 3 or 4 days later. We're back to this in the freezing ass cold, but hey, it is what it is. We're coming to the tail end of February. We got another couple of months before it starts to warm up again. I've decided to take a whole nother tact with this project. And what I did is I picked up a 4-jaw chuck on eBay for under $100, which was a good deal, including shipping, which was even a better deal. So, and that turns out to be not a bad chuck. You know, it's Chinese, but we're not going for accuracy here. We're going to go for just holding power. And so what I need to do is I need to adapt this chuck to a shaft so that I can get a pulley on there, and I can get a motor hooked up to the pulley, and we're going to go electric here. I don't think it will have any electronics at all. And I've ordered a little sewing machine motor with a rheostat, you know, kind of a floor foot pedal rheostat. And hopefully that's gonna, and we're gonna gear this sucker way down. I think what we're gonna do is take this piece of stainless, cut a V-belt slot in the edge of this stainless, put that on the bottom of this, put our little sewing machine motor right here, which you can adjust the speed because it's a brush motor, and that'll give us some slow turning ability, hopefully. And if it doesn't, well, we gotta go another direction, but I think it will. So first thing we got to do is we've got to build an adapter that's going to allow us to put a shaft in here with a couple of bearings so that this whole thing can rotate without too much trouble. And actually, we could probably just do a bushing. No big deal. We're talking about, you know, 1 RPM or something like that. So I've come up with a plug of steel here that fits that. And I think what we're going to do is go ahead and throw that on the lathe, trim it down so that it fits inside of this hole just a little bit, and then build our, or cut our 3 hold down screw holes, get some screws for that, and I think we'll be set. So hang in there with me. We're going to have some fun. Okay, we got our piece chucked up. We're going to make sure we're nice and tight against that, against the jaws there. And what are we going to do here? We're going to start by facing this. Yes, we can face that. Let's get this in. There we go. And that should be plenty, because we're going to cut a hole in there the size of the chuck hole, just in case at some point or another, if we have a welding job that needs to go through that chuck hole. Well, I don't know, we've got a shaft here, so that's not going to really do anything, is it? I think what we need to do is go find our shaft, and we're going to cut a hole the size of the shaft. Okay, so we've got our piece here, and we need to take it down just a little further because we came up with a piece of a hunk of steel here, and I think this is just standard hot roll, you know, 18 or 1018. So we're going to put that in here. We've come up with a couple of bearings that are going to fit, one here and one on the bottom, that'll keep this thing, you know, spinning somewhat true. Well, actually it's going to be incredibly true, but we need to cut this down, and I'm wondering if we shouldn't thread that. Let's see if I've got a thread that'll fit it. Or I mean a tap. Well, we've got a tap but not a die, and I just don't feel like doing a single point today. It's just not in the cards for me. So I think what we'll do is just go ahead and drill a hole, bore it, turn this down to fit it, do a nice press fit on that, maybe just leave it like it is if it's a good tight press fit, and if it's not, throw a weld bead on there. We'll be happy. So next in this whole process is boring. Not ho-hum boring, but drilling boring. Let's see, what do we got here? We're going to it's been a week or so since I've used this lathe, and I know that the oil tends to get a little dusty or tends to fade out. So we're going to throw a little oil on the ways of the tailstock, and that will get it slide nice and smooth. Oh man, so smooth. Okay, and we can probably just go straight in. Let's speed it up a bit. Okay, our bearing size is what we want to go to, or thereabouts. So let's take a measurement. And we're looking at maybe 7.875. Probably good to get a pretty close measurement here. All right, what do we got here? Seven. 85, 87.5, 7875. That's a solid number. 7875. 11/16. Okay. Well, that's easy enough. Let's bore ourselves out to 11/16, or drill ourselves out. Next size. up that surface. All right, that looks pretty good. We're not going for a super accurate finish here. Basically, this is the bottom of the adapter plate, which touches nothing except for the shaft. So, what we want to do though is we want to come in and come on. And take our size up. And you know, while I'm sitting here waiting for this thing to run, I'm thinking, why am I putting bearings in this? Why not just turn it and put even a bronze bushing, or just a regular steel bushing with a Zerk fitting? We're not looking at super accurate here. We're just looking at something that's going to be able to rotate and hold enough position so I can weld. And you know how welding is a pretty loose sort of deal. So we're going to do that. And we will cut this later. Maybe we should cut it now. I'm thinking. Put this aside. Find ourselves a center. Sliders back on in here. Alright, well, I was cutting away, having a great time, and I looked up and of course the battery went dead, and so we got this shaft finished, so we'll go back to cutting our adapter plate. And we're going to take this up to the size of this, which is, what size do we have here? We've got 875, 7/8. Okay, so let's bring this back, get it out of the way, slide the tailstock back completely out of the way, there we go, and what do we got for boring bars? We got my little boring bar head, which works just fine. Maybe the medium one will work. Looks like it could. It's hard to say. Bring it up and see what it looks like. Nope, too big. All right, the little baby boring bar. This should do the trick.